The following program is produced by students of the Brian Lamb School of Communication at Purdue University.
On this edition of Fast Track, we are gearing up for the winter and we meet some Purdue students helping community members with the transition.
And later we take a look into the brand new 1869 tap room. Fast Track starts now. Welcome to this week's edition of Fast Track. We are coming to you from the Clapping Circle. I'm Molly Shaughnessy.
And I'm Dakota Simon. It's that time of year again when the leaves start to fall and the temperatures start to drop. For some Purdue students, Saturdays are a time to relax, but for others, it's a chance to give back to the community.
Reporter Sheena Steppen met up with some students to get the inside scoop.
On November 11th, Purdue students woke up early and headed out into the community to help residents get their homes ready for winter. From cleaning out gutters to raking weeds, students were willing to get their hands a little dirty.
I came with some friends and we just all decided that this is something we wanted to spend our Saturday morning doing.
Chance to give back to the community, I guess. I was a Boy Scout, so we actually had a program like this back home, and I loved every second of it, so I would do it with my family every year, and something great to do again.
Winterization is an annual service project put on by Purdue students that send out volunteers all over the greater Lafayette area to winterize residents' homes. This year's event had close to 1,700 volunteers and 350 homes to work on. Since 2002, volunteers have been coming out to serve others, either with friends, clubs, or just by themselves.
This one, I just sign up by myself and they put me in a group and I get to meet a few new people.
If you'd like to get involved next year, visit PurdueWinterization.org for more information. Reporting for Fast Track News, Sheena Steffen.
Let's check out the weekend weather conditions from our Fast Track meteorologist, Sheena Steffen.
Thanks, guys. Well, as you can tell, this past week have been normal temperatures for the time of November. As we go ahead and look at our current temperature, we can see that this evening we're seeing around 47 degrees with the dew point around 36 and relative humidity around 64%. Winds are coming from the north around 8 to 15 miles an hour, and we reached a high around 54 today and a low around 30. So again, those temperatures have been pretty cool considering the past weeks that we've had, and they're about to get a little bit cooler, but then for the upcoming week, temperatures will start rising a little bit. The low around 30, there will be a possible early morning frost, so just be aware of that. If you have plants outside, maybe take them in tonight just to be careful. As we go ahead and look at the surface map, we can see that we have a cold front right here to our south, and this cold front will be moving down to the south-southeast throughout the day. As we move on to later on tonight, we will start seeing that the cold front will be far to the south, and in its place, this high pressure system will be coming into our area. With that high pressure system, we will start seeing fair temperatures and clear skies. As we look at our 3-day forecast, we can see that starting off Saturday, sunny skies, high around 51 and a low around 31. Again, a low around 31, there could be that possible early morning frost, just to be aware of that. Then carrying on into Sunday, a high around 54 and a low around 38. Pretty clear skies for Sunday also, and then carrying on into Monday into the next week, a high around 56 and a low around 38 with those clear skies. So again, that high pressure system is bringing in those clear skies, cooler temperatures, fair weather. So enjoy that while we have it. That's all I have right now for your current temperatures. Join me later when I talk about your extended.
Thanks, Sheena. Purdue's Memorial Union is used by students and faculty alike as a great place to get lunch and study and even have a drink or two.
That's right. In the basement of the Union, just before homecoming weekend, the 1869 tap room debuted Purdue's only on-campus bar. We sat down with the Associate Director of Catering to find out more.
People have been talking about having a bar or a faculty lounge or something like that here at the Union for ages. It's been something that's been batted around back and forth. They talked about doing it in the Sagamore room, they've talked about doing it in other locations, and it never really got off the ground. This was just a meeting of the right place, right time, right team, and it just kind of made it happen pretty quickly, actually.
It's definitely pretty interesting. I don't think that a lot of people know about it right now, which I guess makes it a little bit more calmer, especially since we're still figuring out to do this properly. but I think it's going well.
It's not been as busy as homecoming weekend. It's kind of a slow process. We were testing the waters to see what was out there. We didn't want to push marketing too hard because this is a student union, this is a study space, so we wanted to kind of be gentle opening. We've had some very positive feedback. The numbers are getting there.
The 1869 Tap Room is open from 4 to 9 on Thursday and Friday evenings, and also Saturdays before home football games. The Tap Room offers a little something for everyone, 21 and older.
We're going more towards the older crowd, which has worked out pretty well because there's not a lot of loud music playing. It's not that kind of campus bar vibe, which is perfect. That's what we want. Students, of course, are welcome. We've had, for instance, last night, half the room was full of students that were still studying. As long as they're of age, they can hang out here.
I actually went in here when I wasn't working, and it's just a nice, calm area that's not like a really loud bar to go to just have a drink. It's nice to be able to have like a quiet place where there's actually also like plugs on the wall, so you could like easily just like plug all your electronics in and just like study and drink beer, which is always nice.
The bar does a lot more than just serve beer. It also aims to teach people about the process behind brewing.
So we're definitely coming at it from an educational aspect as well. So there's probably some knowledge out there of the wine grape team, where they do the wine tasting class, they do the wine appreciation. We're trying to build up, to some degree, something on the beer end as well. So the food science department, they're working through chemistry and agriculture and kind of building that experience for the students. There's partnerships with local hops growers in the community, partnerships with the local business, with Peoples, and then also with the food science department. It kind of ties all that together.
The Tap Room has formed a partnership with Pappy's Sweet Shop, so they provide the food that goes along with their drinks.
What's your favorite food to get here?
The pretzel bread is actually pretty fantastic.
All right. Favorite beer?
Favorite beer right now, I mean, I didn't know that I would like it, but we just switched out for the pumpkin ale because to tie in with the Halloween. So we have the two that stay, the Old Tavern Lager and the Mountain Builder IPA, and then we have one rotate tap with Peoples. We did the German Fest, which was really nice, and then now we've got the pumpkin ale, which I thought pumpkin beer was kind of weird, but it's actually a very nice beer.
The bar's trial period will go through the end of the football season, and management will then reassess moving forward into basketball season. Robert Dupler, Fast Track News.
This week, Purdue had its very own election night watch party. The event was hosted at the Honors College and sponsored by the Brian Lamb School of Communication. Reporter Ryan Nally produced a video about the Brian Lamb School that premiered at the event. Let's take a look at that video.
So the Brian Lamb School of Communication has a long tradition as a department of communication originally, so well over 100-year tradition.
There has been communication here and the teaching of speech and organizational communication and other things for decades.
We have a very vibrant, I think, curriculum for our students in 5 different areas of communication.
It's everything from human relations and communication about relationships to public relations to communication within organizations to video production.
I think we attract really a variety of students who are interested in learning about communication skills, but then also being able to use those skills in a variety of settings.
Students have a lot of chances to get real, practical, applied experience, hands-on learning.
The classes that I've taken have definitely helped me grow in the career that I want, and I could not imagine taking any of these classes anywhere else.
I think a great part of our curriculum is when we have alumni who come back to classes and talk to students.
The networking is incredible through this program. We're all over the nation and even all over the world. I've actually had an internship where a Purdue grad was working there full time, and it was at Warner Brothers Studios.
I think when people hear about Purdue University, their first thoughts are probably engineering and astronauts. I'd like for students who aren't necessarily interested in being astronauts or engineers to also think about Purdue, but in terms of the Brian Lamb School of Communication.
Also very excited to see what my future holds because of Purdue, and I know I'm fully prepared because of the Brian Lamb School.
Let's check back in with Sheena for more extended weather forecast for the West Lafayette area. Sheena?
Thanks, guys. Well, Saturday marks another Purdue home game against Northwestern. If you're planning on going to the game, I've got a game cast for you so you can be prepared. Around noon, so around kickoff, we will start seeing temperatures starting out low around 46, but with clear skies, and then around 3 p.m., Clear skies still. We'll hit our high around 51. And then temperatures start to drop. Around 6 p.m. we'll see temperatures around 45 degrees. And then around 9 tonight, temperatures around 39. So these temperatures are a little bit chillier than usual, so make sure you go to the game prepared. Make sure you wear layers, have a jacket or so. But also make sure you grab those sunglasses, as we will have sunny skies, so that sun will be bright as you go to the game to watch. As we look at our temperature cast, we can see that right now, tonight in our area, we will have colder temperatures and mild temperatures to our south. And then as we move on into Saturday, early morning Saturday, around 4 a.m., those cold temperatures from the north will be dipping down into our area, bringing temperatures around the lower 30s to upper 20s. And then as we carry on to 7 a.m., we can see those colder temperatures stick in our area, and that's what's going to bring those colder temperatures for the early morning Saturday. But we will start warming up as the day goes on. As we look at our hourly forecast for Saturday, we can see that Saturday, we start off around 8 a.m. around 33 degrees, but clear skies. And then around 10 a.m. we're seeing a temperature around 41. Around noon, 46. And then 2 p.m. seeing a temperature around 50. And then hitting our high around 51 at 4 to 3 p.m. this afternoon. That's all I have right now for your extended forecast. Join me later when I talk about your 7-day.
This past weekend, Fast Track producer Trevor Peters went out to Washington, D.C. just days before the election to meet and interview Brian Lamb. Brian is a Purdue alum who founded C-SPAN, and he is also the namesake of Purdue's Communications School. Enjoy the sit-down interview with Trevor and Brian Lamb.
Well, thank you so much for letting me come to C-SPAN today and to have this opportunity. It's extremely humbling to be in D.C. just 4 days before the election. And so it's at Purdue, we are truly blessed to have some of the best faculty and students around, but to have a namesake that truly has changed the world. And we cannot thank you enough for allowing me to come out here today and for this incredible opportunity.
Glad to have you with us, Trevor. Thanks.
All right. So my first question for you. So there's no doubt that this election has been extremely dividing of our country. In your experience, would you say that this is possibly the most divided election that this country has ever experienced?
No. I think there are aspects of this election that are puzzling to people, because this is a divided country, but it's been divided for a lot of years. And the personalities involved in this election are different than most that I've seen in my lifetime. But if you go back through the years, there have been some incredibly divided times, including 1800. There was a time when Alexander Hamilton and John Adams were at each other's throat, nasty, the things that were said, the James Callender reporter expose on Thomas Jefferson and Sally Hemings and all that stuff. That was a nasty time. Mm-hmm. The difference is the communication system. Today, it's instantaneous. Everybody can, if they want to plug in, they can plug in. But it's an uncomfortable campaign because there are so many very strong things that have been said. But I wouldn't call it the nastiest.
What do you think the role of communication has been in this election? So with debates, speech writing, with the candidates, but also the vice presidential candidates, the spouses as well. How has that changed kind of the aspect and the image of these different parties and these different candidates?
I think the most exciting thing about this election is that the average person has been able to participate. Communications no longer belongs just to the corporate media based on the East Coast and New York City. And everybody can get in the game, whether it's using Twitter, Facebook, just the internet in general, email, all those things. You can have a platform, you can tell people what you think, and that is the biggest change of all. And by the way, the candidates have been able to do this on their own also, including, I'm probably the most prolific is Donald Trump because of using the tweets.
Yep. Through your lifetime, how has media really changed the political landscape with credibility and reliability of news?
I grew up reading the Indianapolis Star the Chicago Tribune. Chicago at that time had 4 newspapers, but they didn't all come to Lafayette. My first job in life was a carrier for the Chicago Daily News, which was an afternoon newspaper, and I loved that. I've always loved newsprint. I know young people today don't, but it still is my number one place to go to learn anything is a newspaper itself. Media has changed dramatically. I've loved being a part of that change. I've seen now 2 revolutions. We started as a part of a growth of an industry called cable television and the satellites back in the late 1970s and the early 1980s. And now we've gone through this incredible explosion thanks to something called the internet. I think it's all positive. There are parts of it that are negative, but there are always parts of the media world that are negative. But it's all positive because the average individual, as I said earlier, gets a chance to say something and to be heard. The number one thing C-SPAN did to open the process up was back in 1980, we started opening our phones up every day so that the average American and some internationalists could call in and tell us what their views are. This town, Washington, D.C., lives in a bubble. Everybody lives in some kind of a bubble. And the fact is the bubble begins to think they have the answers to everything. And they do make fun of people in this country that don't have the same pedigree that they do. They didn't go to the big Ivy League schools or something like that. I've listened to them over the years. I've been in Washington for 50 years. And I came out of a small town where people have just as important things to say about the world as people that live on the East Coast. So the big change for me in my life was when the phones were open, the talk shows on radio, and now it's just incredible. I used to work for a fellow years ago that said, "Let 1,000 flowers bloom," and that was his motto, and that's what's happening. And it's older people, and I'm older, have a tough time with the change. I had people that I knew back when we started said, "I don't need any more television. I've got 3 channels." And now you hear people my age saying, "Oh, I don't need any more communications. I've got, my 250 or 300 channels." So it's changed dramatically, and I would say people in your audience who are 19, 20, and 21 are better experts about what's going on today, certainly, than I am.
What are you excited for about Tuesday? As every 4 years as a new election day comes, what have you seen, and how has that changed, and just what excites you in this city and this country about an election day every 4 years?
The most exciting thing about Tuesday is that we get to start again. The sad thing about American politics is we spend entirely too much time running for office and not governing. If I had my way, I would say to a president of the United States, put your 747 away and start paying attention to the day-to-day activities. You don't have to get in the weeds, but pay attention to your cabinet, pay attention to trying to figure out how to get this money situation in order instead of running around giving speeches. And I'd say that to everybody. The idea, if I could pass a new amendment to the Constitution, the amendment would say you cannot run for another office until you complete the office you're in. Because all of these senators and governors and all that have taken time away from their states to run for president have really cheated the people that put them there in the first place. And so Tuesday night, Wednesday morning, if everything goes well, will be the beginning of a new 4-year period. And let's hope finally whoever is elected will pay attention to governing instead of the next election.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Brian. This has been an incredible day, and I really appreciate you sitting down and chatting with me one-on-one. And we can't wait to invite you back to campus again soon.
Trevor, it's always good to have a boiler here in our studios.
Yes, sir, of course.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Before we go, let's check in one more time with Sheena for the 7-day forecast. Sheena?
Thanks, guys. Well, before I go ahead and look at our 7-day forecast, we're going to look at current conditions for most of our region. As we look, most of us had highs in the mid-50s to lower 50s. Up north in Warsaw, we had a high around 52, and in Fort Wayne, 53. Down in Richmond, we had a high around 55, as well as in Indianapolis, and then in our area, we had a high around 51. As the night comes, those lows will start dropping. As you can see in the majority of our region, lows will be in the upper 20s to lower 30s. Indianapolis, we see a low around 32. In Kokomo, 29. In our area around Lafayette, 30 degrees, as well as in Champaign and up north. In Rensselaer, we're seeing a low around 29 degrees. So again, those temperatures are going to be very cold throughout the night. So if you have plants, maybe bring them in. We will start seeing some early morning frost develop throughout the nights with these lows. So just be aware of that. As we look at our 7-day forecast, we can see Saturday we're seeing a high around 51 degrees and a low around 31. Carry on into Sunday, those clear skies, a high around 54 and a low around 38. And then carry on into the rest of the week, we'll start seeing temperatures in the mid 50s to upper 50s. And then around Thursday, we will start seeing temperatures in the lower 60s with a chance of more rain and a low around 44. And then Friday, we will start seeing the majority of our rain that day with a high around 59 and a low around 42. So for the majority of the week, clear skies, fair weather, and then looking at the end of the week, we will start seeing an increase in those chances of rain. That's all I have for you for your 7-day forecast. I'm meteorologist Sheena Steffen.
That's it for this week's edition of Fast Track. I'm Dakota Simon.
And I'm Molly Shaughnessy. For these stories and more, make sure to follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and our YouTube page. Thanks again for tuning in. We'll see you next time.